Hey, folks. Welcome to the Steady Steps podcast. I'm Brian Volpone. Glad you're here today. We're going to start off today with a quiz. What do actress Kate Winslet, writer Maya Angelou, actor Tom Hanks, First Lady Michelle Obama, Sheryl Sandberg, the former chief operating officer of Meta and Facebook, actress Tina Fey, former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, superstar singer and actress Lady Gaga, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and April Ludgate, the character from Parks and Rec, all have in common? Want to know the answer? Every single one of them has admitted that they struggle with imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that feeling that you're not really as good or competent or capable as other people seem to think you are, and that they'll somehow find out that you're a fraud. And this is true even when you are objectively successful. And almost everybody struggles with it in some way or another. Let me give you an example with Kate Winslet, who I mentioned earlier. Kate had her breakout role in the Titanic, and then she went on to play in so many iconic movies and shows, including The Reader, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Mildred Pierce, and Mayor of Easttown. She's won an Academy Award, 4 Golden Globe Awards, 2 BAFTA Awards, along with several other nominations, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, and multiple nominations and wins from the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Quite frankly, Kate is a legend in her field. And yet, she's consistently spoken about self-doubt and said that imposter syndrome can persist even for someone like her that's a highly accomplished actor. She said, "Sometimes I wake up in the morning before going off to a shoot, and I think, I can't do this, I'm a fraud." And she's not alone. All the people I mentioned and many others have admitted to this very same thing. Basically, imposter syndrome plagues just about everyone, including me. So if that's the case, what should we do about it? Let's talk about it.
Okay, so have you ever had that feeling, you hit some big goal, maybe a promotion, project goes great, but instead of feeling good, you just feel dread. Like, oh no, now they're really going to find out I have no idea what I'm doing. That feeling, that sort of persistent fear that you're basically a fraud and your luck's about to run out, that's what we're diving into today. We really want to understand this gap, right? Where the achievement is there, but the confidence just isn't.
Yeah, we're talking about imposter syndrome, and the official take is it's this feeling that you don't belong, or you're not actually qualified, or like you said, you're constantly about to be
I
exposed.
found out.
Exactly. And the key thing, we really have to stress this, it's not about being incompetent, not at all. It's this weird psychological disconnect between how you see your skills and what you've, actually done.
Like, you totally nailed that presentation. Everyone loved it. The numbers prove it. But your brain's still writing the disaster movie sequel.
Precisely. Or you've got all the right qualifications, degrees, experience for a job, maybe leading a team. But the second you're actually in that role, you feel like, who let me in here? That internal feeling versus the external reality, that's the heart of it.
Okay, so if it feels so isolating when you're in it, how common actually is this? Because it kind of sounds like this niche high achiever anxiety thing sometimes.
It's shockingly common. That's the surprising part. Some research suggests maybe up to 70% of people.
70? Seriously?
Yeah, 7 is R. Across all sorts of fields, too. Students, professionals, leaders, creatives. It hits pretty much everywhere at some point.
Wow, 70%. That totally reframes it. That means, like, most people you see looking confident, maybe on stage or in a big meeting, they could be dealing with this internal doubt constantly.
It really seems that way. And it's not just beginners either. It seems pretty consistent across different levels of experience.
So it doesn't necessarily get easier the more senior you get.
Well, that leads us to this really interesting paradox. Sometimes it actually gets worse the more competent you become. The feeling often hits the highest achievers the hardest.
How does that work? That seems backwards.
Think about someone like Maya Angelou. I mean, an absolute giant. 11 books. Huge cultural impact.
Yeah, legendary.
And yet she apparently worried every single time she started writing something new that this would be the time everyone figured out she was running a game, as she put it, that she'd finally be exposed.
That's just mind-blowing. 11 books on the shelf is proof and still feeling like a fraud. So why? Why does confidence seem to lag behind competence, especially for experts?
It might have to do with awareness. You know, beginners often overestimate themselves, the whole Dunning-Kruger thing.
Right.
They don't know what they don't know, so that they feel pretty confident.
Right.
But experts, they understand the vastness of their field. They see how much more there is to know, the nuances, the complexities. They're acutely aware of their own limitations relative to, like, perfect knowledge.
Ah, so they know enough to know how much they don't know.
Exactly. And that awareness of their own gaps can lead them to downplay what they do know, what they have achieved,
Yeah.
because they're always comparing it to this ideal standard.
So the very thing that makes them good, that constant self-assessment, looking for areas to improve, is also what fuels the feeling of not being good enough.
It certainly seems to contribute. And that feeling, often tied up with perfectionism, it has real costs. It's not just an internal struggle.
Okay, let's talk about those costs. Because, yeah, you assume it's stress, maybe burnout, but how does it actually stop you tangibly in the real world?
Oh, it could be completely paralyzing. It leads to very specific behaviors. Things like avoiding taking risks, downplaying your wins when someone compliments you, even refusing opportunities outright because you just feel unworthy or not ready.
But sometimes holding back is smart,
Yeah.
right? How do you tell the difference between imposter syndrome and just, being realistic about a risky move?
That's a good question. I think it comes down to the reason for holding back. Is it, do I have the skills, the resources, the support for this?
Hmm.
That's healthy self-assessment. Or is it, am I fundamentally good enough, like, as a person to even deserve this chance?
Yeah.
If the skills are objectively there, but that feeling stops you, that's imposter syndrome taking a toll.
Okay, that makes sense.
Think about staying quiet in a meeting when you actually know the answer, but you think, nah, my idea probably isn't good enough. Or avoiding trying something new entirely, learning an instrument, a complex recipe, joining a class just because you're terrified of not being perfect right away.
That fear of messing up, of being exposed as not perfect, which brings us to that classic advice: fake it till you make it. Does that actually work?
You know, it gets talked about a lot. And maybe it helps you take the first step. Like, acting the part can sometimes trick your brain into feeling a bit more capable initially.
Like a psychological nudge.
Yeah, something like that. But relying only on faking it, it's exhausting. It can feel really inauthentic after a while. And crucially, it doesn't actually build real deep confidence if you're not also, genuinely learning and growing underneath it all.
So we need better language for it. Something about actual growth, not just pretending.
Exactly. We need language that focuses on the process. Maybe instead of faking it, think, practice it until you become it. Or maybe grow into it until you own it.
I like that.
Or even just show up until you catch up. Meaning, keep putting in the effort, keep engaging until your internal feeling starts to align with what you're actually doing.
Show up until you catch up. That really reframes the uncomfortable feeling, doesn't it? It's not proof you're a fraud. It's
No.
maybe proof you're pushing yourself.
Precisely. That discomfort, that feeling of being out of your depth, it can actually be a sign that you are growing, you're stretching, you're moving into new territory, challenging your old self-image. That's often supposed to feel a bit weird.
And it helps knowing you're not alone in feeling weird.
Absolutely. And the company is pretty impressive. You hear stories about Meryl Streep feeling she doesn't know how to act sometimes.
Right. Or Jodie Foster apparently thought her first Oscar was a mistake, like they'd accidentally given it to her instead of Streep.
Exactly. It creates this bizarre situation where the absolute best in their fields are plagued by these doubts. Tom Hanks, Michelle Obama, even CEOs like Howard Schultz from Starbucks admitting he didn't feel fully qualified initially.
So if they feel it, it's clearly not about lacking skill. It's something more fundamental.
It suggests the problem isn't just individual, it's maybe more systemic or just,
Yeah.
part of the high-achieving human condition. Which means the solution isn't just try harder or act more confident.
Okay, so what are the solutions? If we accept this feeling might pop up, what practical things can we actually do about it? How do we build that internal defense system?
Right, this is about practical strategies. First one, collect evidence. Seriously, make a dedicated folder, digital or physical, doesn't matter. Fill it with compliments, positive feedback, notes about projects that went well, awards, anything objective that shows your competence.
Like a wins folder.
Exactly. A wins folder, a kudos file, whatever you want to call it. Because when that feeling of being a fraud hits, your emotions are unreliable. You need to look at cold, hard facts. Okay, I feel useless, but here is objective proof that I achieved X, Y, and Z. It shifts the internal argument.
Okay, data beats doubt. What else?
Second, master your craft. Deliberately focus on learning, practicing, preparing. Sometimes high achievers focus so much on the performance, they neglect the quiet, consistent work of actually getting better. Internalizing the skills through steady effort is what really builds that deep, authentic confidence over time. It turns that nervous energy into competence.
Makes sense. Less focus on the spotlight, more on the woodshedding. And what about that internal voice?
That's number 3. Language shift.
Mm.
You have to consciously change that internal script. When the voice says, I don't belong here, I'm going to fail, you actively replace it with something like, okay, I'm learning here, or this is challenging, which means I'm growing.
Mm.
It reframes the anxiety from a threat into just feedback that you're pushing boundaries.
Shifting the narrative, I like that. And the last piece.
Finally, and this could be the hardest one, confess it. Talk about it. Share these feelings with people you trust, mentors, peers, friends. It feels vulnerable, especially in competitive fields, but just hearing someone else say, oh my God, me too, is incredibly powerful. It breaks the isolation and normalizes it. You realize it's not a personal failing, it's a shared experience.
Wow. Okay. So to recap this deep dive, this imposter feeling is way more common than we think. It hits competent people hard, maybe because they're competent, but it's manageable.
Yeah, definitely manageable.
By focusing on preparation, actually collecting proof of your wins, changing that internal story, and crucially, talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not about eliminating the feeling forever, maybe, but learning how to navigate it.
So a final thought for everyone listening. If we accept that even people at the absolute peak, Oscar winners, top CEOs, struggle with feeling qualified, how should that change the way you look at the next opportunity that feels maybe a little scary?
Right. If that doubt is maybe just part of the deal when you're ambitious, perhaps you can acknowledge it. Say, okay, you're here, and then step forward anyway.
Yeah.
Treat it not as a stop sign, but just as a, companion on the journey.
That's a great challenge. And maybe, for you listening, the first step is starting that evidence folder right now. Just one good thing, one piece of positive feedback, one accomplishment you can write down today. Start building that proof. You really have earned it.
There's not one simple solution out of imposter syndrome. Some of it is just pressing on despite the self-doubt, but let me give you one hint that really helps. I was a pastor for about 20 years, and I took a class when I was in Bible college called homiletics. If you don't know what that is, it's basically preaching class. And I expected it to be all about the dramatics of the pulpit. Things like when to wave your hands, how to modulate your voice, how to come up with good examples and good illustrations. And instead, it was none of those things. It was about how to prepare outlines. And that was confusing at first, and I remember asking our teacher about it. And Dr. Wolf said something that really was, in my mind, fairly life-changing. He said, preparation gives you freedom in the pulpit. And that is really good advice for a lot of areas in life. Let me give you a couple of examples. Say you feel like an imposter at work. The solution to that is to apply yourself and get better at your job. Instead of cruising around social media, spend your free time honing your craft. Many parents feel like they're making it up as they go along, but preparation like reading and asking for advice or planning routines, they help you build confidence. In relationships, you might feel unworthy of a good friend or a good partner, but investing time and listening well and practicing kindness can turn your doubt into security. In your spiritual life, people sometimes feel like they don't pray right or they don't know enough scripture. But studying the Bible and spending quality time with other believers and serving and practicing your faith in practical ways, that grows assurance. Sometimes people want to pick up a creative hobby, like painting or writing or playing the guitar, but that can feel really intimidating, like you're not a real artist. But regular practice builds skill and confidence. Or maybe you want to get into fitness and health. Going into a gym can make you feel like a fraud among all these real athletes. But if you have a steady routine, and even small one, it shifts that feeling into belonging. So with all that said, let me encourage you this week to begin the journey of preparation. Be intentional with your time. Invest it wisely in mastering those areas of your life. It's not going to happen overnight, or in a week, or even a month. But I guarantee you that with steady progress, you're going to gain more confidence and not feel like you're constantly faking it. Thanks for spending time with us today. I hope this was helpful, and if it is, maybe share it with a friend who could also benefit from it. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified about future episodes. And again, thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next time.
You've been listening to the Steady Steps podcast, thoughtful moments and practical insights to help you walk a more intentional path. This show is written and produced by Brian Volpone with M1016 Productions. Our theme music is generated with Mubert. AI voice performances and discussions are supported by Notebook LM, Gemini, and ChatGPT. You can learn more, listen to past episodes, or get in touch at steadystepspodcast.com or email us at any time at steps@steadystepspodcast.com. Thanks for listening and keep taking steady steps.